we're going to get right into this craziness with Hamas, with Israel, with the conspiracies looking in different directions. I don't know, man. I always resist the flow that the media is pushing. So right now there is a flow from the left that we need to back Hamas freedom fighters, right? Which is insane when you look at what actually happened. But then there's the right who says, hey, we need to back Israel in basically obliterating every Palestinian man, woman, and child forever. Like they just get a free pass to do whatever indefinitely. And I'm not with that either. I'm absolutely not with that. So I hear people that are like, hey, like we need to look at one side, but I'm always trying to be objective to the facts going around what's happening, because things are not usually simple. And I don't know if you remember, but it wasn't that long ago that there was a heavy propaganda push for a proxy war that was happening, and the propaganda kept getting flipped around and exposed as fake or exaggerated or what have you. So I'm just saying discernment is very, very important. We got to make sure that we're not just jumping on a bandwagon blindly and enabling God knows what from happening. An example of stuff that seems a little blown out of proportion. It seems a little odd. You gotta let me know. This is CNN, who is known for being always truthful, always objective, always bringing the receipts, right? And here is their current coverage that's going on. So look at this and tell me what you think about this.
Ago, CNN's teams on the ground near the Israel-Gaza border, they had to take cover, jump in a ditch because of what was happening overhead. I'm going to show you these moments. Listen to this.
Get down.
Closer.
Down.
Get down. Close. You're fine. You're okay. You're all right.
Okay.
That's the Iron Dome. Okay? That's the Iron Dome.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Clarissa is on the ground right now. Clarissa, tell us what's happening.
Stand by.
Hi, John. So forgive me, I have a slightly unelegant position, but we have just had a massive barrage of rockets coming in here, not too far from us. So we have had to take shelter here by the roadside. We're just about 5 minutes away. Gaza is in that direction. We can hear now a lot of jets in the sky. We could also hear the Iron Dome intercepting a number of those rockets as they were whizzing overhead and making impact in that direction.
I don't have proof of anything, but that seems like the people that go to the hurricane and then they step in the biggest puddle they can find. And then like there's somebody down the street just walking with an umbrella like it's nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like they're always so extra with everything. They're like crouched, running into the ditch, laying down like that. Like they couldn't wait 1 minute until they were standing back up, because a minute later they're standing up, and then do the interview. Then they got to be like shaky cam and laying on the ground on their side. It just screams propaganda. It just reeks. It reeks. The alarm bells, the spidey senses are just going nuts for this stuff I've been watching. I'm just saying, I'm not telling you guys that one side is like the good guy and one side's the bad guy kind of thing. It's not what I'm saying. There can be bad guys on both sides and good guys on both sides. There could be fake stuff. There could be false flags. There could be internal ops. And that's kind of why the theme for this, which I wanted to show you, because there's a lot of nuance and a lot to this. So this is a guy who has constantly constantly tried to frame Trump over the years. So I am reluctant to believe literally anything that he says, like anything at all.
Such a well-planned, multi-dimensional operation against Israel, and Israeli intelligence seemed to be caught totally unawares. This had to take months and months of planning. I think it demonstrates Hamas really has learned how to carry out this type of planning and not have the Israelis become aware of it. So again, the Israeli intelligence is mainly Shin Bet, which is the domestic intelligence agency, as well as the Israeli military intelligence that has responsibility for Gaza. But it does raise questions about whether or not Israeli sources, both human and technical sources, have been compromised by Hamas, and the Israelis were being fed false information and gave them a false sense of complacency, because there were just so many Hamas militants that were involved in this. Again, it took many, many months in order to plan this.
And when you say compromised, do you mean that some of these intelligence forces for Israel could have gone and worked
yeah, they
for
could have been
Hamas?
doubled. They could have been identified by Hamas and then doubled back against Israel and being fed, false information into Israeli intelligence headquarters, as well as some of their technical systems. They might have, found out where they were and then intentionally putting information into that again did not give Israel a sense that this planning was taking place.
Some of the military tactics used here, I mean, this is advanced military tools that were used here in these attacks. Was that surprising to you? What does that tell you about Hamas's capabilities, or who may or may not have been helping them?
Well, it shows great compartmentation on the part of Hamas, because, again, there were just so many different elements involved in this, land, sea, air. But Hamas over the years has been able to accumulate quite a bit of rockets and munitions. It has received training from outside. It's been, the benefactor of Iran and others have provided Hamas the wherewithal, the ability, the insights, the training that is necessary to do this. So clearly this was very well orchestrated. It was done at the senior leaders of, Hamas, and it's something that I know was planned for many, many years, and I think they just took advantage of the opportunity. And when I look at some of the footage in this music festival that took place right outside of the Gaza Strip, and the wanton slaughter of individuals there, I mean, this clearly shows the core militant group within Hamas really carried this out with great vengeance, as well as with tremendous execution.
Okay, so a few takeaways there. For one, he says this has been planned out for a while. I would imagine, yes. They've been waiting for the right moment. And I would definitely say when he's saying they've received training and funding and assistance from Iran, who we sent or unfroze, was it $5 billion of assets for? And they said they've been accumulating munitions over the course of several years, like the ones that we gave to the Taliban? Is that kind of what you're saying? Because that's what I'm hearing. I don't know about you guys, but that's exactly what I'm hearing. And I'm seeing this stuff all over the place. From Jim Ferguson on X, says, I don't know if you could see that from here. See if I can pull this. From Jim Ferguson, he says, breaking news, Israel. U.S. weapons left behind in Afghanistan used to attack Israel. High-ranking Israel Defense Forces commander said U.S. weapons left in Afghanistan by the Biden administration were found in the hands of the Palestinian group active in the Gaza Strip. Chaos that erupted after the U.S. scrambled to evacuate Afghanistan as ordered by Biden, and the significant amount of weapons and equipment left behind there has now been used to attack Israel, a close ally of the United States. Biden is incapable of leadership and a total embarrassment on the world stage. That is absolutely factual, accurate. Dude's an embarrassment, and I don't know if you heard this, but apparently Sleepy Joe needed to go to sleep. So we got, hi everyone, the White House has called a lid for the day. Before the pool call time, we will not be seeing the president today. So we got this conflict going on, this basically war erupting, and Biden's not even going to take the stage, not going to answer any questions, just absolutely nothing, just totally blacked out. That's unacceptable, dude. That's unacceptable. So we got the far left who are 1,000% behind Hamas, and you're seeing these protests going around, and I'm telling you right now, this is a big problem. This is a huge problem. We got from a spokesman, this is a Hamas spokesman, threatens to execute civilian hostages and air each execution on live television. Says every targeting of our people without warning will be met with the execution of a civilian hostage. Each execution will be aired on live television for the world to see. Dude, that's insane. Insane. Straight evil. Civilian hostage execution on air. Dude, nope. Okay. That's the bad guy for sure. That's the bad guy. So that's a bad guy move. And this is what I'm trying to say. I'm condemning terrorism. I'm condemning any slaughtering of civilians on either side. So I understand there is action and reaction, but the problem that I'm having, where the alarm bells are going nuts, is that things don't add up all the time. And it's very odd that the Biden administration has almost single-handedly enabled this attack to happen. And then the other side is able to use the political gain of empathy and sympathy to execute a massive operation against an opponent without the world really caring. I mean, you can look at numbers and see like, hey, they took out one of our people, so we're going to take out 1,000 of their people. You get what I'm saying? And then it starts to go so lopsided that you're just like, whoa, dude, what's going on? And then they're like, hey, don't you have our backs? Don't you think that what happened to us was terrible? And we're like, yeah, but shouldn't you be targeting the group, not like blowing up all the churches and leveling all the buildings and indiscriminately murking whole villages of people? Do you get what I'm saying? Let me know if you know what I mean. Now, I see from Dom Luker, breaker of narratives, who's been very hard at work recently, but he says that Saudi Arabia has informed the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken that it is ending all negotiations on normalizing relations with Israel. So we are pretty much screwed on peace in the Middle East for the time being. So Trump was really close, man. Like those Abraham Accords were finally getting us somewhere. And then we left them all those weapons, the terrorists, the Taliban. We started funding Iran again. We depleted the oil reserves, which, by the way, kind of a big deal, okay? We had full oil reserves, and then Biden, in an attempt to make the dumbest of the dumb liberals think that it wasn't his fault that oil prices went through the roof, drained our reserves to try and help the cost of oil. Now we are not energy independent, and he's been begging the Saudis to give us more oil. And now we're about to be funding their opposition, or at least supporting their opposition vocally, which we have been. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying they have us by the balls with oil because of what he did specifically. So now our strategic oil reserves, it says we got 17 days of oil reserves, and you should look at how those work. It's like salt mines or something weird. Basically, you can't fill it and unfill it over and over again. So it was full, it was fine, but as they keep unfilling it, it like destroys the integrity of the reserve area. So it's kind of a crappy situation. We might not be able to refill it again. And Jason says, it's not dumb, it's orchestrated. Yeah, it feels orchestrated. It feels hella orchestrated. And here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're a gamer, please tell me this makes sense to you, okay? Because this is the vibes that I'm getting off of this.
Z nami Bóg. Remember, no Russian.
Okay, that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's a infamous mission called No Russian. And in it, you play as a CIA agent who has infiltrated a terrorist organization. The terrorist organization goes on a rampage through a shopping mall, taking out all their people in Russia. And at the beginning, the guy tells you, the main guy, remember, no Russian, meaning don't speak Russian while we're here. And then they go through the mall, you join in the rampage, and then when it's over and all said and done, they think that America did the attack, but it was really a Russian terrorist group. So then the regular Russian people scream for war against the Americans who didn't do it. That's my point. There's the element of what really happened in all of these spots and cases and who really did it and who benefits. Usually who benefits is who did it. And it may not have been that they did it. It also may have been that they let it happen when they suspected it would happen. Because here's what I'm telling you. There's a combination of people who benefit from this. So for one, it's like I said, it's the people who are making money. You look, Congress is buying war stocks. They're buying defense company General Dynamics, and Republicans are buying heavy into oil and energy companies, and the Democrats are buying into cybersecurity, but they're all like these Congress, it's all Congress buying into these freaking companies, knowing what's coming. And then they push the narrative that benefits what they are buying into. So that's what I'm saying. Like, look at this. I'll pull the numbers right here. I wish this was a little bigger, but that's fine. So here's the defense stocks right now. So we got Lockheed Martin, RTX Corporation, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and General Dynamics. All of them spiked because war's coming. War's good for business. So I'm just telling you, you got John Brennan, who lied about everything with Trump, saying, oh, well, Mossad and the Israelis, who have an unbelievably incredible intelligence agency and technology, must have just not noticed all of these Hamas people infiltrating all over the place and setting up to commit their version of 9/11. Really? None of them suspected any of this. None of them saw any of this. None of them could possibly have stopped any of it. As I said, I'm not saying they did it. I'm not even saying that they could have stopped it. I'm just saying it's freaking suspicious that people with this much tech could be bamboozled by people with no tech. Does that make sense? And then right afterwards, they're like, hey, we are now going to the whole strip, take out everyone and everything, strong, decisive, harsh punishment. And is it even the people who done it? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not condemning or supporting any of it. I think people just need to take care of their business. So we got enough going on here. My big problem is the southern border. The southern border has been a hotbed of young military age males pouring through. And if you look at all these cities with all of these marches that are happening that are full on Hamas supporting, I'm just like, how many of these people are new arrivals that came through the southern border? And how many of them are going to retaliate on us because we are supporting Israel as the ally in the Middle East? Does that make sense? My worry is about here. I'm worried about my family, my kids, my land. Okay. The Middle East has been a strong, it's been a hotbed of war forever. So I am sorry that they're going through what they are going through. My worry is my dollar, my family, my children, the safety of the homeland here. So here is from a town hall meeting in Winterset, Iowa. This is one of the best descriptions of why we need to protect the southern border. So here you go. From the great one and only Joe Biden.
It makes sense that no great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders. So I think what you have to do is you have to have a significant increase in the security at the border, including limited elements where you actually have a fence. Not a fence 3,000 miles like these folks are talking about, but you've got to, there are certain places people can go over and under a fence, but you can't take 100 kilos of cocaine over and under a fence.
All right. So just FYI, Biden was not quite expertly, but he was very on board with explaining what we needed in a border to secure against drug dealers, against terrorists, against arms dealers. And it's very funny that in 2008, he's complaining about George Bush not prioritizing securing the border and how much of a nightmare it is that it wasn't done properly. And then now he is quite literally letting everyone and anyone through the southern border to the detriment of our country, potentially. It looks really bad, but it's from him. He said it. The guy's so old and decrepit, he acts like the internet doesn't exist. Like we don't have all of this on video. Now make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe, because we got to boost this in the algorithm so that more people can get this information. Not that many people knew. Joe Biden's a big, strong supporter of a good southern border. Yeah, that is a little shocking. So it makes you wonder, is this just completely by design? Because he knows we need a strong southern border. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name. But it says, airstrikes in Gaza are just the beginning, and what Israel will do next will resonate for generations to come. That's freaking scary, bro. Yeah, I don't really know what that means. I don't know if they're talking nuclear. I don't know if they're talking gassing. I don't know if they're talking, blitzkrieg through the strip. I don't know. I'm just saying. Here's Donald Trump telling kind of his response to the situation, how he would handle things.
When I'm in the White House, the entire world will know that America is strong, America is safe, and that we are going to take care of our people. We're going to take care of the men and women of our country. We're not going to worry about the rest of the world. We'll do that where necessary, but we've got to take care of our country because we're losing our country. We're losing.
That's it. We got to take care of our people here. So we can throw prayers. We can say, hey, I see what happened. I hear what happened. This is terrible. You do what you got to do. And that's the approach I have with Israel. It's like, this happened. Do what you got to do. But I'm watching. So if I'm seeing, hey, you had like 4 people taken out and then you're going to take out 400,000, that's kind of sus. You know what I mean? So I'm watching, but at the same point, it's not my call. That's between you guys. That's your war, your conflict, your problem. My conflict is we got people pouring through the southern border that are disproportionately military age fighting males. Okay. And then they're going to all of these damn cities and getting everyone riled up. And I'm suspicious, man. At very best, I'm suspicious. And then all the liberals are trying to take away the 2A from these people in those areas. And I'm just waiting for the shooting gallery to start up. It's got me tripping out. Now, I did see from the Israeli prime minister, he told Biden, we have to go into Gaza. And they said Israel does not have a choice but to unleash a ground operation in Gaza. We have to go in. And, you know, Biden, who knows what Biden said, but we know Biden put a lid on it for like a day and a half after his barbecue or whatever is going on. But yeah, my problem is a lot of things. If you look at how this situation has unfolded, we have Biden destroying our energy production, Biden opening the border, Biden, horrible Afghan withdrawal, okay? Horrible response with the Ukraine situation. Taiwan's looking scrumptious for China, okay? And with the border being wide open, anyone that we don't want to come through can easily come through here. So they are armed. They are funded with that damn trade where we traded 5 for 5 plus $5 billion to Iran, and they sponsor Hamas. So we got Hamas getting guns and money from basically Biden is what it seems like right now. And then as we ramp up support for Israel, the people who've come in here are getting pissed and being enabled and provoked by the left because they just like to watch everything burn, apparently. So yeah, I'm seeing the always be strapped. That's probably the best course of action. Just be strapped, dude. I mean, if you live in a city, if you live anywhere that might be in sort of trouble, you need to be careful. Because these guys, if you look at the ratio, male to female and age. It's not like elderly women and a bunch of babies coming through, okay? It's like there's one lady with one kid, and that's the only clear female that I see is right here. And you could tell by the cake. That's proper female. Okay, but one, that's it. Boom. And they're getting ready to be processed. Two. Yeah, I counted like 4, maybe 5. Maybe 5, and that's it. So I'm just telling you, that's who's pouring in, is fighting age males. Also, I've been hearing chatter for months that there's a lot of them coming through that are speaking Arabic and Farsi and all these other Middle Eastern languages. So it's not like just South America people showing up here. We got to be careful. We got to be ready. Stay strapped. Watch out for your family. And have some supplies, because I could see us getting hit in some way, shape, or form on either electric, on the water plants, on the damn gasoline supply chain. It wouldn't take much to really screw us up. And some little cells orchestrating something on our infrastructure would be as bad or worse than a just civilian casualty situation. that they might be planning too. So I'm telling you, with us being Israel's greatest ally, and then the Gaza people really being pissed off, the Hamas people, sorry, they might be striking at us for supporting them. Like, it's kind of likely, it feels. Because here's what Biden left for them, okay? Now it's kind of small, but 600,000 small arms, meaning like M4s and like saws and just stuff that one person could carry. 30 million rounds of ammunition, 200 aircrafts, 75,000 vehicles. And that was $83 billion worth of equipment. That is a lot of gear that we just left to the Taliban. You can't do that. We needed to either bring it or nuke it. You can't carry that. You can't leave that for the enemy. Are you serious? Ooh, okay. But somebody had indicated, and I agree with you, that I've seen more footage of what's going on in both from Israel's response and from the Hamas attacks. I've seen more footage of that in one weekend while having my kids' party than the entire Russia-Ukraine war conflict thing. So that is changing my opinions about that a little bit. That's kind of surprising that you could have that little of anything over that long of a period of time. There's also the whole weirdness with like world leaders walking out into the war zones, and then there's just the sirens blaring in the background. It's like, is it the background or did they edit that in? I'm curious because it's all freaking suspicious. All right, and on X from Leading Report, we got Secretary State Anthony Blinken admitted that the $6 billion financial package for Iran that he and Joe Biden endorsed has unfortunately been used to support terrorism. Holy shit. No wonder they put a lid on it. No wonder he's hiding in the basement again, because they done it. They did it. Someone said get the tinfoil. Tinfoil hats out, okay? It's just too much right now. See, because when we had a proper president, when we had proper leadership, this is the picture that everyone saw. Okay? You got Trump mediating, negotiating, working towards world peace, the Abraham Accords. They said he would nuke the world. Instead, he brought peace. Peace through strength. It was amazing. And we need him back. That's my whole thing. That's the whole mission. We got to get the orange man back up in here, because Biden's going to get all of us. I mean, he comes out in support of Israel after quite literally enabling the attack. It's like, you gave them the guns, you gave them the funds, you gave them our southern border, you showed them we're not going to retaliate on anything on the world stage, and then now we're going to act all friendly to Israel after quite literally creating the environment for this attack to happen. Biden should be in hiding. He should be in hiding, and he should stay in hiding and just resign in disgrace. Honestly, that's what it should be. But no, he's the front runner. Now, here's Leading Report also on X, which you guys should follow them because they got a lot of good, juicy stuff. So, Hamas is claiming Ukraine sold them weapons, U.S. funded, that they used in the attack against Israel. So we're sending Okay. Here's a New York Times piece. The Pentagon sends U.S. arms stored in Israel to Ukraine in January. And then we're getting reports that Hamas has gotten our guns from Ukraine. So we give weapons and money to Ukraine, and then they sell it to Hamas to attack Israel. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That's not good. So we give Iran money, we give the Taliban guns, and then we give the most corrupt government in the world $130 billion in money and equipment. And now all of our resources are going to attacking Israel. And now Israel's coming back with a vengeance, and like very few people can blame them. But like I said, you get a blanket excuse to just eradicate a whole group of people. I'm not for that either. So it's really not good. And it's all, as many have indicated, it seems like it's by design. It seems really sketchy. And the timeline is bad for Biden. The whole world sees it. It's really bad for Biden. Okay, I'm going to see. Now, here's the funniness. You got the rhinos trying to run cover, the CNN rhinos, because this is by far Joe Biden's fault. And then you got here Rhino Mike Pence with this shit on CNN.
I want to focus on what you had to say about some of your fellow Republicans. You said that this is what happens when leaders in the Republican Party signal Americans retreat as leader of the free world. Weakness arouses evil. Are you talking about your former running mate?
Well, I am, but let me begin at where we ought to start. I mean, that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan has emboldened the enemies of freedom around the world. And now war is raging in Eastern Europe. And President Joe Biden's kowtowing for the last 2.5 years to the mullahs in Iran, lifting sanctions, begging them to get back in the Iran nuclear deal, and then paying $6 billion in a ransom for hostages, I think set the conditions for this unprecedented terrorist attack by Hamas against Israel. But I also believe this is what happens when we have leading voices like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Ron DeSantis signaling retreat from America's role as leader of the free world. That what happened in Ukraine was an unprovoked invasion by Russia. What happened this weekend was an unprovoked invasion by Hamas into Israel. And I really believe now more than ever, both the debate within the Republican Party and the debate within America is whether or not we're going to once again stand without apology as the leader of the free world, as the arsenal of democracy. The heartbreaking images coming out of both of these theaters of operations remind us that America is the indispensable leader of the free world. And if I'm president of the United States, we'll lead from American strength.
If you're president, you'll lead from American strength. Okay, Mike. Yeah, that's -1 point for you now, sir. Nobody's voting for you no matter what, okay? Like the one half-wit who might have voted for you is now going to vote for RFK Jr. So, yeah, you lost all. You got nothing, Mike. It's like Trump, DeSantis, and Ramaswamy are the problem on the Republican side. Give me a damn break. All right.
Brought it up, the angle of the American citizens. Congressman Mike, I tweeted out just a few moments ago what the UN ambassador, Israel's UN ambassador, told us. Congressman Michael Waltz tweeted in response, if true, I would expect hostage rescue elements of Special Operations Command to be deployed immediately to Israel.
And he said
U.S. special operators.
If this report is
If
true.
that's true.
Yeah.
Whole other dynamic.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about us being dragged into a conflict over this. Like I said, I am pro let them do what they need to do. Us going in to another sloppy Middle East war just doesn't really sound that appealing with our current scenario. We don't need it. We don't need it. We need to send any and all people to the southern border to secure it. You want to send special operators? Send them around to deport and capture the cells that are dispersing through our country here. We're in trouble. We don't need to go picking fights. Okay? And we don't need to go joining fights. People can settle their beefs. Okay? Let them settle their beefs. And we need to take care of shit at home right now. It's very important. Now, the Daily Wire crushing this poor bastard. Top Biden advisor bragged of quiet Middle East 1 week before Hamas attacks Israel. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have bragged about anything because it was purely on the timeline of Hamas of when they were going to do this kind of stuff. There was absolutely nothing but encouragement from everything the Biden regime has been doing. So just not feeling that. Now, I didn't say, but officially it showed Israel's cabinet invoked Article 40, officially declaring war for the first time since Yom Kippur War in 1973, and over 600 had died in Israel due to the Hamas attacks at that point, which I don't know what I think it's climbed to like 900 or something like that. So it's not good. It's very bad. Now, this is where my brain starts to freak out, though, when I hear stuff like this. From this, let me see if there's the Israeli defense minister saying that they're fighting human animals. Got to hear this.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
That's what I'm saying. So my freaking alarm bells are going off when you have the guy saying we're going on a full-on siege, no food, no electricity, no water, no nothing. We attack all of them. They're human animals. That reminds me of like Anakin Skywalker when he slaughters the whole village because one of the people had hurt his mom. Well, actually, they took his mom hostage. So kind of made it justified. It kind of layers it, right? There was some justification. But then he slaughtered the women and children too. And you're like, ooh, yeah, I don't know, Anakin. That's kind of rough, man. That's a little bit over the top. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a little bit too much. I don't like taking sides, and I know there's more than meets the eye with all this kind of stuff, and propaganda is really strong, and they try to appeal to your emotions. And I'm emotionally broken when it comes to this kind of stuff. So as soon as the herd starts flocking to a narrative, I go the other way and try to break the narrative. Now, right now, there's two narratives. There's the psycho, left wing, the Gaza people, like murdering humans and shooting rockets into the city are the freedom fighting good people. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. And then there's the, hey, I just bought the right wing. They're like, I just bought a bunch of defense contract stocks and I'm going to encourage Israel to rain hell on earth on all the civilians, the Palestinian civilians, indefinitely, because, screw those people, because of the Hamas attacks. And I'm like, I'm not on either side of that. I'm not okay with either side of that. So forgive me. I say, let them settle beef. We got to deal with the southern border. And I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't like that. But that's what I feel here. We got big problems at home, and we need to address the big problems here. And those problems are going to bleed over into here. We're going to have problems with oil. We're going to have problems with terrorism. We're going to have problems, honestly, with just more division generally in society. So none of it's good. And Joe Biden enabled this to happen. with weapons, with money, and with an absolute lack of consequence to anything that these guys try to do since he got in. Absolute weakness abroad from the United States has caused this.
We sent a strong message with this attack, Makarov.
That was no message. This is a message.
The Americans thought he could deceive us. When they find that body, all of Russia will cry for war.
If you enjoyed this clip from the FTT Thoughtcast, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the Freethinker React series for endless entertainment, or the full versions of the Thoughtcast here. Keep those notifications on, and I'll catch you live.